The Salem Stalker Chronicles. Inside the kidnapping that has a town on edge. Salem, USA. In a story that reads like the plot of a blockbuster thriller but is unfolding in the heart of the Midwest, the quiet town of Salem is once again thrust into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. This time, the drama isn't just playing out on television screens, it's dominating true crime discussions and fan forums alike. We are talking, of course, about the chilling case of Stephanie Johnson, the public relations maven and newlywed who vanished in broad daylight from her place of work. While the fictional citizens of Salem tune into their favorite soap opera for escapism, the real-world parallels to the Days of Our Lives storyline currently airing are too gripping to ignore. It's a narrative cocktail of obsession, trauma, and a town racing against the clock, and it has officially become the most talked about event in soap opera journalism this week. The disappearance. A calculated strike. According to exclusive spoilers obtained by our sister publication, Soap Hub, the week of February 23 marks a terrifying turning point in the months-long saga of Stephanie's stalker. What was once a campaign of creepy fan mail and subtle threats has escalated into a full-blown abduction. Our sources confirm that the abduction occurs on a seemingly ordinary Monday. Stephanie Abigail Klein, who has been trying to maintain a brave face while promoting her erotic novel One Stormy Night, is snatched from her desk at the hospital. The method. A chillingly classic move. A stalker disguised as a medical professional approaching from behind with a chloroform-soaked rag. It's the kind of scene that makes your blood run cold because it exploits the one place we're supposed to feel safe, says Dr. Alina Adams, a media psychologist and soap opera historian. The hospital is Stephanie's sanctuary, a place connected to her mother, Kayla. For the stalker to violate that space, it sends a message that nowhere is off-limits. The audacity of the crime has sent shockwaves through Salem's close-knit community. For weeks, the primary suspect has been Jeremy Horton, Stephanie's abusive ex-boyfriend. His history of violence made him the obvious culprit in the eyes of Stephanie, her husband Alex Kyriakis, and even her mother, Kayla. But as the investigation deepens, a far more sinister and complex picture is beginning to emerge. The mastermind unmasked. A face from the past. In a twist that has left fans reeling, the real kidnapper isn't Jeremy at all. Our investigative team has confirmed that the man behind the mask is Owen Kent, a name that will send shivers down the spine of any longtime Salem viewer. Actor Wes Ramsey has quietly reprised his role as the villainous Kent, a character who hasn't been seen in Salem for 16 years. For the uninitiated, Owen's history with Stephanie is not just criminal, it's deeply psychological. Back in 2010, Owen was hired by E.J. DiMera to kidnap Stephanie as part of the brutal DiMera-Kyriakis crime war. During that captivity, something snapped in Owen. What started as a job turned into a dangerous obsession. He became fixated on Stephanie, even fantasizing about running away with her before she was ultimately rescued. He was arrested but famously escaped during a prison transfer, vanishing without a trace, until now. This isn't just a random act of violence, it's the sequel to a trauma Stephanie has never fully healed from, comments entertainment analyst Belinda Gates Turner. The show is drawing a direct line from her past trauma to her present danger. It highlights how victims of such crimes live with the fear that the nightmare isn't truly over. Owen has been hiding in plain sight, using a bug planted in Stephanie and Alex's apartment to stay one step ahead of the police and her protective father, Steve Patch Johnson. He framed Jeremy Horton, expertly planting evidence to lead the investigation astray while he closed in on his ultimate prize, Stephanie. A family's anguish and a town's determination. As news of Stephanie's disappearance spreads, the Johnson family has mobilized with a ferocity that only a supercouple's lineage can muster. Patriarch Steve Johnson, Stephen Nichols, as a man possessed. Gone is the charming rogue with an eye patch. In his place is a father consumed by guilt and a burning need for vengeance. Spoilers indicate that Steve immediately partners with Commissioner Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gearing, and, intriguingly, Cat Green Annalyn McCord, to hunt for his daughter. Cat's involvement suggests that the search will utilize every resource available, from official police work to digging through the gray areas of the underworld. Meanwhile, Stephanie's new husband, Alex Kuriaki's Robert Scott Wilson, is living every spouse's worst nightmare. Fresh off the high of sharing his wedding joy with his parents, Justin and Bonnie, Alex is plunged into a frantic search alongside Brady Black. The emotional whiplash is palpable. Kayla Brady Johnson, Mary Beth Evans, Stephanie's mother and a pillar of the medical community, is facing a crisis of perception. She has been one of Jeremy's loudest accusers. However, a pivotal moment arrives this week when Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, the town's preeminent psychiatrist, gently challenges Kayla's certainty. Marlena points out that Jeremy doesn't fit the psychological profile of a stalker, explains a source close to the production. This moment of doubt is crucial, as it may finally open the door for the family to consider that the true threat is far more dangerous, and far closer, than they ever imagined. The why behind the obsession. What makes this narrative so compelling to audiences isn't just the suspense of the rescue mission, but the chilling psychological depth of the villain. Owen Kent isn't just a thug for hire this time, he's a predator acting on his own volition. His goal isn't money or power, it's possession. Owen feels that he and Stephanie have unfinished business, notes Jennifer Gardiner, a soap opera journalist who has been tracking the storyline. In his warped mind, their history created a bond. He's come back to claim her, to take her away from Alex, from her family, and make her his. This obsession is heightened by Stephanie's recent success. As the author Anastasia Sands, she has put her deepest emotions and fantasies out into the world. For someone like Owen, who lives in a fantasy about her, that book may have felt like a direct invitation, a siren call that pulled him back to Salem to finally make his delusion a reality. A fight for freedom. While the Salem PD and the Johnson family scramble, the narrative shifts to the captive herself. Spoilers for the end of the week promise that Stephanie is far from a passive victim. By Friday, we will see her actively trying to free herself from Owen's clutches. This detail is key to the story's resonance. It transforms the narrative from a simple damsel in distress trope into a powerful story of survival. Stephanie, who has survived abuse and a prior kidnapping, is digging deep to find the strength to fight back. She's not waiting for a man to save her, says a fan on social media, reacting to the spoilers. She's trying to save herself. That's the Stephanie we know. The bigger picture. A legacy of danger. This kidnapping doesn't exist in a vacuum. The spoilers reveal a web of interconnected dramas playing out in Salem. E.J. DiMera, Dan Feuerriegel, is facing the fallout of his secret hospital lab experiments, which Kayla is poised to discover. Meanwhile, the DiMera family is preparing a proper memorial for the late Stefano DiMera, a reminder of the criminal empire whose machinations set this entire tragedy in motion 16 years ago when E.J. first hired Owen. As the week progresses, the question remains, will Steve and Rafe uncover the truth about Owen before it's too late? Can Stephanie break free from a madman who has spent 16 years perfecting his obsession? For the residents of Salem, and the millions watching their stories unfold, it's a race against time. And in a town where the past is never really the past, The ghosts of yesterday have returned with a vengeance, threatening to consume one of its brightest lights forever. Tune in next week as we continue to follow this gripping case. Will Stephanie escape the clutches of her past? Or will Owen Kent succeed in writing the final, tragic chapter of their twisted story?